Hello and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft. I'm Jade, and for the first time in this world, I am down to 3 levels, and it is not because I died. It's because I've been enchanting. So I've put in a few hours here at the villager trading hall that we built in the last video, and we were able to get some enchanted gear. So it's not maxed out enchanted gear, but it's much better than the plain old iron that we were using in the last video. And we still have to acquire the mending villager from the swamp biome and bring him over here so we can get mending on all of this stuff. But as of now, we don't have an experience farm. I was able to enchant all of this stuff using the enchanting table down here and levels from all of the villagers that we were trading with. But I think if we're going to add mending to all of our tools, we definitely need to have an experience farm going to be able to take full advantage of the mending. But that XP farm is going to have to wait until another episode because today we're going to try to finish our starter village. We're going to try to add a few more buildings over there and finish out the interiors of the buildings that we already do have. But before that, it's time to take a daring journey to the roof of the nether because we need to connect our spawn chunks with this portal right here. So let's do that. Alright, so we're back in the spawn hole, and I've made a portal down in this area. I took the portal that was up on the surface up there, and I brought it down here. And this will be the portal that stays here forever. It's how we're going to get in and out of these 2 chunks here. So let's jump in there. I'm only taking the essentials in case we die or get stuck on the nether roof. But I've got a pathway that I found up to the top. It's right up this way. What do you guys think about the nether ceiling? Should it be allowed in the game or no? I know in Bedrock, you're not even allowed to place blocks up on the nether roof. So it's definitely not something that was originally designed for you to take advantage of, but I'm definitely going to take advantage of it since I do not like the nether. I don't like these guys. Look at them pushing me out of the way. Anyway, to get up to the nether roof, you have to find a piece of bedrock that is at level 127. So I found one up here. And then you got to belly up to it with some ladders. So as soon as these guys get out of the way, look, I almost hit them there. We'll put some ladders down, climb up to the top. Got to get right here. And all you have to do is aim your ender pearl right about here. And then hope for the best. Let's do it. Okay. And then we're on the roof. So I'm going to take a torch and put it down here in case we want to ever remove that piece of bedrock, because we will have to get back down in there to go to like the nether fortress and to get blaze rods and wither skeleton skulls and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and set up 2 portals up here. I'm going to take the 2 portals in the overworld, divide their coordinates by 8, and then set them up somewhere up here. So then we'll be able to get back and forth between our villager trading hall and our spawn chunks. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, we got 2 portals now with the corners intact. This one should lead to our spawn hole, and this one should lead to the villager and enchanting area. So let's go through this one first and see if we did this correctly. I realized that the sounds on top of the nether roof are kind of spooky. Just sitting there listening to them. Alright, so we got that one correct. Now let's go back through. It'll probably take us to the one lower. Okay, it does. So this one, we need to go ahead and break so it doesn't take us back to this one when we come back through. And then we have to go back up again and get back to the nether roof. So we'll do that. I built the portals a little with scaffolding a little bit off the ground. And that's just in case if we ever want to come back and build like a nether hub, that we have room underneath each of the portals. I think it is something that I want to do eventually, just not anytime soon. Okay, so we're back up top. We know that that one works. And now that we broke that down below, it should never take us back underneath. Now let's see if this one lines up with our villager trading hall. And if it does, then it's a lot easier to travel between the 2. I've been taking a horse. All right, it does. So we're in business. We have the ability to travel through the nether now without the risk of running into any mobs there. So, mission accomplished. So we're on the road into Fishiville now, and we've been expanding this road little by little between episodes because we eventually want it to wrap around and come up this cliff here to where we will have a castle tower right here on the corner of this cliff overlooking the village and keeping it safe. But for today, we have a lot of work that we need to do in the village. We have a few buildings there already, so we need to finish out all the interiors of the ones that we do have, and we also have to focus on getting a few more in here. So this is how the village looks right now. There's about 10 buildings in this area, not including that one over there. So that we can assume is about 20 or 25 people that live in this village. And I would like to get that number up to 40. So we have to look at good spots to build more buildings. I definitely want to put one over here. I think this spot is kind of empty looking. And as well as back here. This may be like kind of a place for animals or a stable back here past the bakery. I want to put one right here that is a boat building or boat repair shop, since it's got this boat right here up on the shore. And then over here, I want to make the herb shop that one of our commenters left on a previous video. Which I think is a great idea, and I think this is a really good spot for a building. We'll definitely give it a sloped roof like this one here, and it'll have a great view of the lake. If I'm feeling ambitious, I may put some more buildings over here in this little like cut-in area and build another pier coming out. But we'll build a few buildings here and see how we feel about Fishiville, and I'll bring y'all back in when we have some progress made. Okay, so we've added 2 new buildings to our village. You got one on the far left here, and then one on the far right. And we've done the interiors to both of these, so let's take a look at them. This first one is the herb shop. Now this was inspired by a comment left on the first video about Fishiville, where I asked, what's good ideas for professions in this village? And someone said, a herb shop. So this is what this one is, and it sells like vegetables and plants and whatnot. But let's take a look at the interior. Like all the other houses, it's kind of small on the inside, but I tried to fill it up with a lot of variation. So just a bunch of plants here, a crafting table. This is where the fire would be, but they don't have it going right now. And then I put the bed kind of raised up on this ladder here. So just a 1-room house. In these barrels over here, I have every type of sapling. So I moved this from over at our spawn. So if we ever need a sapling or we run out, we know that we can find them here and we don't have to go hunting out in the world and cutting down trees and whatnot. This house kind of has a little secret. It's down here, and I may make this more detailed, but they've got one little piece of amethyst down here. And The idea is maybe whoever the herb, is it a herbologist? Whoever the herb shop person is, they might practice a little magic on the side, so that's why they have that down there. But the other building that we built is on the far side of town, so we'll make our way over there. And it's fairly simple as well, but the idea of this one is whoever lives here works on building and repairing boats, which is kind of important for the fishing village. So they have a pretty nice house in comparison to some of the other ones. So they have an actual floor instead of just dirt, and they have 2 rooms. So this is kind of like the living room kitchen area, and then there's another raised bed back here, and then underneath is kind of like a floor bed for maybe the kids could sleep or something. But that's the interior of these 2 houses. We still have a long ways to go here in Fishiville, but we're going to take a little break to go on a side quest real quick. So we're back over here near spawn, right outside of the hovel that we lived in the first few episodes. And there's still stuff down in these chests down here that we need to go ahead and move over from this hole, either to Fishiville or to our villager trading hall. But as time has gone by, we've slowly removed all of the houses that were once in the village up here. And then eventually we'll go ahead and remove the wheat fields and the animals as well. So there'll just be no trace of what once was. But I do want there to be something right here. This is right on top of our spawn hole, where we have our 3 farms down there. And I do want a spot up here, so if we ever die without a bed, and we spawn like right here, we'll be able to get down to our nether portal and, you know, quickly get back to wherever we need to go. Because most of the time we'll be entering this area through the nether. But it would be nice to have something up there just in case we died. And to mark kind of the spot where we started this world. But to do that, I want to get a bubble vader right here. So for that, we need kelp to make all of the water source blocks. And we need soul sand. Which means we need to go into the nether. I think it's also time to try to get some potions going, which we also need to venture into the nether as well. So I wasn't planning on it for today's episode, but I think we need a short nether excursion, which means we need to break a hole in the bedrock ceiling, go down into the nether and see if we can find some soul sand and maybe another fortress. So let's go ahead and do that. So I was not expecting to get jumped as soon as I came down the ladder from the nether ceiling, but it made sense because while I was up on the roof of the nether, the only place for the piglins to spawn was in that room right below the ladder. So kind of got a scare there as soon as I came down, but I put on the golden helmet and I set off on the journey. I kind of just picked a random direction to go from spawn. To the left of our original portal it looked to be a lot more crimson forest. So I dug in to the right, and I dug about 40 blocks into the netherrack, and I came out to a warped forest. And within the warped forest, about 100 or so blocks from spawn, was a nether fortress. And it was a fairly big nether fortress too. So we got the achievement, A Terrible Fortress. We battled some blaze and got some blaze rods. We battled some wither skeletons, but we did not get any wither skeleton skulls. And we battled some magma cubes, but we did not get any magma. Or, what is it called? Magma balls? I don't know. Anyway, despite the fortress being very large, it did not have a nether wart room. So we did not get any nether wart, and we did not get any soul sand. The whole point of our journey. We took a lot of damage to our diamond gear, and we killed a lot of mobs, but we did not get any soul sand or any nether wart. So we still can't brew any potions, and we still can't make the bubble vader. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to build something on top of our spawn hole. So let's watch that now. Alright, so we finished a little campsite around our spawn area. And this is it. I built a tent here. And this is as small as I could get the tent with still keeping it a tent form. So it's pretty big on the inside. There's not much in here. We have this crafting table and we have a barrel. And I think we'll fill this barrel up with extra materials and extra tools and stuff in case we die and we get sent back to spawn. But here's the hole that goes down to our farms. And then here's the hole that comes up with the ladder that'll later be a bubble vader. So that's what's inside the tent. Outside, we've got a post here to hook the horse up to, and I think we'll keep this lead in the barrel as well. So it's pretty simple. At least it's something that can cover up those holes and kind of mark where our spawn is in the world. Like we said in the lore of the world, this area around spawn is highly contested, so it's very dangerous to travel through these lands. That's why this group is traveling together in a group of 3. But that's gonna do it for this area around spawn. We're gonna clear out the rest of this stuff here later, and we'll also clear out all the buildings down there and kind of just make the land look a lot more natural. But for now, let's get back over to Fishiville and finish up the rest of the village. So we're over here by the blacksmith house that we built, and we've added a few more details. So we kind of finished up his little workspace over here. We've got a fire going in the place where he does all his crafting, some iron to show that he's working with metals, and then over here we put some of these. I figured these could act as like crab traps or lobster traps that he makes here and then that they use down at the village. We also finished out the interior of his house, so kind of just a simple living area down here, and then he's got a bedroom up here, and he's working on some armor as well. But that's similar to how we did all of the interiors over in Fishiville, and we can go take a look at it now, because we're pretty much done with the village. All the interiors are kind of small, and there's not too much room for great detail, but I really think that it shaped out nicely the way the houses are laid out, and everyone's not too similar to other ones. So we added this. I am recording this on Christmas, by the way. Trying to get this video out by tomorrow. I've had family over and it's been kind of difficult to record because there's been a lot of sound and noise going on. But we added this building here, and it's kind of simple on the inside as well. Just a bed, and put a cover on the window, and place for the lantern to go, and a chest. So all of the houses kind of look like that. I'm not going to go through the interior of every building, just ones that I think are interesting. So all of the houses have interiors. Now this is the main, or the biggest building in the entire village, and we did go ahead and make this a place of worship. So I think The backstory behind this particular building is it was used as like a storeroom at one point, but recently a cleric or a priest has come to the town and kind of taken up residence in this building as well as using it for his congregation. So there's just some storage up here on this back part. And then over there across there, you can see where he's got his bed. And then the tarp where the roof is being covered up also kind of acts as like a curtain where this guy does like his preaching or whatever. Of course, we got the bakery that we worked on before. Back here, we added stalls for the horse to go if we ever come to visit. I was keeping them in this one here. And then these two buildings down here closer to the shore are where the fishermen live, so we made them both have interiors that represent that. So they got a fishing rod, maybe what they wear out on the lake, and then it's like a 2-room thing, so this is their bed back here. But this is very similar to how all the other interiors look as well. But I think that we've finished up here for Fishiville. I want to add a net somewhere. But I need to find cobwebs so it can act as a net. We went ahead and put some of the crab traps out here, and they've kind of got like a buoy up at the top. I thought that was good, and I think like getting a bunch of cobwebs lined up somewhere hanging like a net that's drying out would be good as well. But other than that, we're pretty much done with Fishiville. And I really liked how it turned out. Just a village filled with starter houses was kind of the goal, and I think we accomplished that. So now we can go ahead and move on to other bigger and better things in this world. We have a lot of plans. In the next episode, I think we'll start talking about like the history and the backstory of the world. So if you have any ideas about cool lore and stuff, make sure to leave them down in the comments. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.